She's coming up the hill. She's coming up the hill. Yeah.
Good morning. I'm fine.
Ms. Shanice Brewster Charles, representing the title sponsor, Dasani Power Aid. President of the Barbados Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools, Mr. Robin Douglas. Host principal here at Queen's College, Mrs. Mitchell Maxwell. Ms. Sandra Goodrich, principal of the Courage and Parry School and co-chair of the Barbados Secondary Schools Athletics Championship Management Committee. Other principals of BAPS, Mr. Andrew Brathwaite, co-chair of BSSAC and assistant meet director. Mr. Dave Small, BSSAC meet director. Other members of the BSSAC Management Committee, coaches, teachers, students from our secondary schools, members of the media, good morning. I do apologize for that late start, but I believe we are ready to go. My name is Juanita Wade, and I am your MC for this launch of the Barbados Secondary Schools Athletics Championships, the 2025 edition. I want to extend a warm welcome to you all, and I invite you to stand for the national anthem, which will be sung by a student of Queen's College, Miss Anaya Stewart.
In plenty and in time of need, when this fair land was young, our brave forefathers sowed the seed from which our pride is sprung. A pride that makes no wanton boast of what it has withstood, that binds our hearts from coast to coast, the pride of nationhood. We loyal sons and daughters all to hereby make it known. These fields and hills beyond recall are now our very own. We write our names on history's page with expectations great. Strict guardians of our heritage, firm craftsmen of our faith.
We want to thank Anaya for that lovely version of the national anthem. At this time, I would invite you to just bow your heads for a moment's silence as we remember those teachers and students who would have died already in this year, and those from the beginning of the school year. So I invite you to just observe a moment's silence. May the souls of the dearly departed rest in peace and rise in glory. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Ken Lane to lead us in a word of prayer.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ, we approach your throne. We are thankful for this opportunity that we can come before you. And Father, we humble ourselves, recognizing that you are God, and that you are eternally in control of everything and everyone and every situation. Father, therefore, we are asking you at this time that you would look upon us, O Lord, across the schools of Barbados. Father, not just the secondary schools, but remember the primary schools as well at this time. Well, Father, this is a season of athletics and various championships across the island and the region. But Father, I pray today for this launch particularly. Father, remember the title sponsors, the Sani Parade. Father, remember the management committee of these championships. Father, there will be challenges, but Father, help us to face those challenges with fidelity. Father, with clarity and with strength, and Father, with perseverance. I pray, dear God, that every single event will be run, Lord, in a manner, in an attitude of sportsmanship. I pray for every athlete. I pray, God, that they will not be injured during these championships. Father, remember those who are in preparation already and those who are ready participating, and Father, showing forth their talents. Bless them. Bless this meet this year. Let it be a meet of a difference. Father, let it be one that is remembered for a long time. Father, I pray, dear God, that all the finances will be met. I pray, Father, not just for the title sponsors, but for the other sponsors who has already come on board. I pray for them, Lord, and I pray for their products. I pray for their services. I pray, dear God, that the benevolence and the philanthropy that they have so shown, God, would be returned to them, Lord, in good measure. Bless us today, Lord, as we proceed with this launch, Lord, and guide us and bless the MC and everyone that will take part in this year's activities and this launch. In Jesus' name we pray with thanksgiving. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Lane. Mr. Lane is the principal of the Darrell Jordan Secondary School. Please be seated. Before I invite Mr. Robin Douglas, president of BAPS and principal of Combermere School, to give the official welcome, I dare say that this is the largest number I've seen at a BSAC launch, and I want you to just put your hands together and give yourselves a round of applause. Hopefully it augurs well for the future. At this time, I would invite Mr. Douglas to give the official welcome.
Ms. Shanice Brewster-Charles, title sponsor for the Sani Parade. Host principal here at Queen's College, Mrs. Michelle Maxwell. Ms. Sandra Goodrich, principal of the Coleridge and Parry School and co-chair of the Barbados Secondary Schools Athletics Championships Management Committee. All other principals of BAPS, very pleased to see you here this morning. Mr. Andrew Brathwaite, co-chair of BSAC and assistant meet director. Mr. Dave Small, BSAC Meet Director, other members of the BSAC Management Committee, coaches, teachers, students from our secondary schools, members of the media, good morning to all. I start by indicating or bringing to your attention a very important point made by our MC. There is a large number of persons present today. The Barbados Association of Principals of Secondary Schools has made a commitment to bolster and increase its support of this meet, of this athletic championship. And the presence of our principals here is an indication of that renewed effort. Why would we do this? Well, other than the very deserving criticism that we would get if we did not. We know the facts. Athletic activity is the very fabric of community empowerment. And we understand that schools cannot achieve what they try to achieve, which is the building of citizens of the country, if they do not engage in a community-minded effort. Athletic activity at BSSAC brings you students together in fair, honest, powerful competition. Competition that brings the best of us to the fore and brings the greatest effort out of us. It teaches persistent lessons. And, yes, thank you, Ken. Obviously, someone is looking out for me. Persistent lessons that you, students, should and will imbibe, take into yourselves to develop your character. Teamwork, resilience, the getting over challenge, moving together, understanding that defeat does not mean the end, but only indicates the lessons you need to learn to move on and be successful next time. These are the kinds of things that are so important to education as a whole, and as such, it is with great honor and pleasure that I welcome us to this moment for the launch of this, and for the launch of this championship, and for us to look forward to probably the most exciting part of our school year, year after year. I want to, before I move on, indicate that the renewed effort of the principals, secondary school principals of Barbados, is not without, of course, the continued support of our title sponsor. And we will say, I will say, that we certainly look forward to support from other public spaces as well. I am thankful for all of you that are here, and I wish us a most inspiring and energy-laden launch. Thank you very much.
I guess I'm going to have to do this every time someone taller than I am is here. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Douglas. Let's give him another warm round of applause. Now, oh dear. Now we get to the meat of the matter. We are going to hear at this time from the co-chair of the BSSAC Management Committee, Ms. Sandra Goodridge, who is also the principal of the Courage and Parry School. Ms. Goodridge.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I don't have to move the microphone because we are about the same height. Ms. Shanice Brewster-Charles, title sponsor, Desani Power Aid, President of the Barbados Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools, Mr. Robin Douglas, host principal here at Queen's College, Mrs. Mitchell Maxwell, other principals and deputy principals and other representatives of our secondary schools, both private and the public, Mr. Andrew Brathwaite, and he came just at the right time, co-chair, BSSAC, and the assistant meet director, Mr. Dave Small, BSSAC meet director, other members of the BSSAC Management Committee, coaches, teachers, students from our secondary schools, members of the media, good morning. I am Sandra Goodridge, as you heard, and it's very interesting being in a different role. I had emceed these forever, so having to speak not as the MC is a little different. It is with a sense of anticipation and excitement that I stand here today to bring brief remarks as we launch the Barbados Secondary Schools Athletics Championship 2025. I'm elated at the attendance too, like everybody else, of our representatives, and I'm glad that our colleagues would have heeded the call And I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I trust that you will continue to heed the call. But this is really about our athletes. So while I thank them, I thank you for being here. And I really am happy when I look into the faces and actually recognize several of you as the athletes who go out there year after year and make us proud. So thank you for coming, and we hope that this season will be an excellent season for you. This championship carries as its title sponsor Dasani Powerade, represented here today by Mrs. Shanice Brewster Charles. And I must highlight the significance of the contribution that the local representatives of these products have made to the young people of Barbados through sponsorship. Ma'am, we thank you for your continued support, without which we would not be able to stage such a high caliber meet. Many would not be aware, but each individual school also benefits through the donation of products. Therefore, your substantial investment in our athletes is greatly appreciated. There's a special initiative that will be announced shortly that will see awards to schools based on their performance in sporting activities. This comes outside of the significant contribution of Dasani Powerade, which they continue to make to BSSAC. And we are indeed grateful for this decades-long relationship. The 2025 championship is really the grand finale of the Dasani Powerade Schools Athletic Series and cannot happen yearly without the hard work of our dedicated organizing committee. Today, I want to make special mention of this group of PE teachers, principals, past and present, as well as individuals whose special talents are the foundation upon which the success of this meet is built. The work of this team, coupled with the dedicated group of officials who are led in each area by the knowledgeable and competent chiefs, often goes unnoticed and, I dare say, unappreciated. I want to invite at this time the members of the organizing committee to stand wherever they are. We know that everybody's not here, but that you can see who they are. So if you're a member of the organizing committee, please stand where you are. And we have, and Mr. Brathwaite is at the back. Let's get, and Mr. Gabriel Burnett, right. You see when you call people by their first names. And I want to thank them, because without them, they do a lot of work. We do a lot of work behind the scenes, and you just see the finished product. But today, I also want to acknowledge the chiefs, and I know that some of them are here, and even if they aren't, that you would hear who they are. So we have Sheena Hurdle, St. Leonard's Boys, and if you are here, stand and remain standing. St. Leonard's Boys School, who's the chief of check-in. Sandria Butcher, here from Queen's College, the chief of call room, and I saw Sandria earlier. Yes, remain standing. Fernando Skeet, who's independent, but he's the chief of high jump. We have Almar Cave from the Ellerslie School, and he's the chief of javelin. Wendy Barrow Smith from the National Sports Council, the manager of the Chiefs and the chief of shot put. Dwayne Bryan, I didn't see Dwayne, but he's from the Courage and Parry School, chief of discus. Derek Lashley from Graydon Sealy, the chief of triple and long jump. Marcia Oxley, independent manager and of the track and hurdles. Pat Brewster, independent chief track umpire and hurdles. Basil Cox, independent chief starter. And Kevin Carter from the Parkinson Memorial School, the field events referee. So we have a few of them here, and I want you to give them a large, loud round of applause. We thank you for your continued service, ladies and gents. In an effort to bring everyone to the same high standard, there will be training of some officials this year. Training sessions are also planned for athletes in conjunction with the Barbados Olympic Association. We're also in dialogue with the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation and the Media Resource Department of the Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training regarding training of students in videography and photography. So you see, it's not just the athlete that we will be training. The BSSAC series will officially begin on January 27th. For those who are not counting, that's Monday. All right, so that day, I'm happy to report that some of the individual school sports will be held at the Usain Bolt Sports Complex, following meets all being held on grass last year while the new track was being laid. So first out of the blocks will be the Graydon Seeley Secondary School on Monday, January the 27th, and they will conclude with the Darrell Jordan Secondary School 1 month later. We look forward to an action-packed month in which the nation's youth will be positively showcased. The Field Events Championship will follow, and we will culminate with the grand finale. This year's Field Events Championships will be held right here at Queen's College, and I thank the management of the school, Mrs. Maxwell and her team, for accommodating us this year. Each year, the organizers try to bring a program that will excite the public. Mr. Dave Small, the meet director, will outline any technical changes when he speaks, but I take this opportunity to announce the ticket prices for the public. So for the zones, which we want everybody to come out to, we want to see a full arena, $10 at the door. For the zones, $10 per day at the door. For the finals, $20 at the grounds and $25 for the stand. The yearly effort to stage BSSAC is truly a labor of love. The team that I presently have the privilege of leading remains dedicated to ensuring that the stage is prepared so that the hard work of the coaches and you athletes can be showcased in the best possible environment. I thank all for the continued support of the talented young people of this nation and encourage you to come out in your numbers for the BSSAC 2025 edition. And I should add that we will be telling you principals and representatives here about our idea of how we can get the zones to be full, so we look forward to your support of that as well. So overall, I'm asking Barbados to ensure that when these athletes are participating, that we see a full arena, whether it's the zonal meet or whether it's the finals, that we have large numbers in attendance. It will be awesome. I look forward then to BSSAC 2025 and take this opportunity to wish each athlete and each school well in your pursuits at the championship, which promises to be even better than the last. God bless you.
Thank you, Ms. Goodrich. Make sure that you have your questions ready because we do have a question and answer session at the end. At this time, I invite Mr. Dave Small, teacher, coach from the St. Michael School, who is our meet director. Mr. Small?
Good morning. Protocol already established. I want to say BSSAC is back to the two zones, which was the original format when we went to the zones. So not since 2020 have we gone to the two zones. So things are back to pretty normal where BSSAC is concerned. Firstly, I will give you the dates for the BSSAC events. The throwing competition, as was stated, will be at Queen's College this year instead of Harrison College. And the dates, March 4th, 6th, and 7th. Right? March 4th, 6th, and 7th. Now, one difference would be that the jump events now will be done all at Usain Bolt, as QC does not have that facility for long jump, high jump, etc. All right. Our zones this year will be the Frank Blackman and Shada Williams zone. That's a change. Before it was just Frank Blackman. And that zone will be the 18th and 19th of March. The next zone is the Esther Maynard and Ryan Brathwaite zone, which used to be just the Esther Maynard zone. And that zone will be the 20th and 21st of March. Okay. As I stated before, all jumping events will be done at the Usain Bolt complex during the zones and during the regular BSSAC finals. The major technical change this year will come in the hurdles, where we will see the lowering of heights and distances and changing of distances for some events. Namely, the junior boys, they will be competing at 80 meters at a height of 84 centimeters. The under 17 boys will revert to 100 meters, and they'll be going at 91 centimeters. The under 20 boys, 110 meters at 99 centimeters. So we've lowered the distance, the heights, in order to get, I guess, to boost the participation. Now, in the intermediate hurdles, the junior boys will run 300 meters at 76 centimeters. The under 20 boys, 400 meters at 84 centimeters. So those are the major changes that you will see at BSAC. All the heights for the girls will remain, and distances will remain the same. I can quickly tell you which schools are in which zones. I will go quickly for the Frank Blackman and Shada Williams zone. There's Alexandra, Codrington High School, Courage and Parry, Darrell Jordan Secondary, Hartman College, Lockerbie College, Parkinson Memorial, Princess Margaret Secondary, Queens College, St. Winifred's, the Ann Hill School, the Ellerslie School, the Lodge School, and the St. Michael's School. In the Esther Maynard and Ryan Brathwaite zone, we have the Alling School, Beyond the Box Education, Christchurch Foundation, Commonmere School, Dighton Griffith School, Frederick Smith Secondary, Grantley Adams School, Grantley Adams Memorial School, Graydon Seeley Secondary School, Lester Vaughan, Providence Secondary School, Spring Memorial, St. George Secondary School, St. Leonard's Boys School, and Young Explorers Barbados. And these will be the zones, these are the schools competing in each zone. So we look forward to a competitive BSAC this year. We look forward to good competition, good clean competition. And I know that a lot of people, as was said, BSAC is the highlight of the school year. So we expect everybody to put their hands on the plow and put in as much work as they ought to make sure that BSAC is successful. So that will be the teachers, principals, coaches, spectators, everybody. There's something in BSAC for everybody. So BSAC is back. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Small. At this time, we are going to hear from the representative of our title sponsor, Ms. Shanice Brewster Charles.
Good morning, everyone. It is a joy to stand here today representing the Barbados Bottling Company as title sponsor of the 2025 Dasani Powerade BSAC Series. Before I go any further, I'd like to thank the BSAC Organizing Committee, principals, PE teachers, and the amazing athletes for making this championship meet possible once again. Each and every year, it is a privilege to witness the energy, passion, and commitment on display as we gather as a people across this nation to celebrate the power of track and field and the spirit of competition at this incredible event. At the Barbados Bottling Company, we are passionate about youth and sport and see value in supporting these initiatives because they positively impact the physical, emotional, and mental well-being of our young people. The staging of this competition not only provides a unique opportunity for teamwork, perseverance, and resilience to be built, but it also empowers our athletes to challenge themselves and strive for greatness long after the final whistle blows. As title sponsor, we are intent on assisting the BSAC Organizing Committee behind the scenes to ensure this championship meet is a success. Similarly, we are committed to supporting all schools participating in this event by providing the best hydration duo of Dasani Water and Powerade to all athletes and officials from the start of individual school sports next week through to the finals being hosted in March. To the athletes who will be competing in the upcoming months, you are the heart of this event. Work hard, play hard, and most importantly, handle all victories and setbacks with class. To the principals and PE teachers, thank you for your support, your encouragement, and guidance. Your role is invaluable to shaping these young athletes' experiences, helping them to navigate challenges and also celebrate their successes. On behalf of the Barbados Bottling Company, we are thrilled to be part of this event for yet another year. We look forward to seeing the amazing moments that will unfold in this series. Best of luck to all the athletes, and of course, to all the schools. Let's make this series one to remember. Thank you.
Let's give our title sponsor another round of applause. We could not do it without them in the way that we do it. So, thank you to Ms. Shanice Brewster-Charles. At this point, I'm going to invite Dave, sorry if I'm calling you by your first name, Dave, and Andrew, the meet directors, to answer any questions that you might have at this time. You will notice there is a microphone in the aisle, so you can use the microphone, and I'm going to invite Andrew to join us so that they can answer any questions you might have. Dave is going to let you know the final dates. I think he forgot those. He was so bent on mentioning the zones, but he will certainly let you know when the exciting final days will be. Thank you.
Question to, I believe David will want to take this. With respect to the hurdles, the changes to the hurdles, I'm trying to find out if the original idea for the change, was there input from the coaches? They will get queries from the athletes. And secondly, the zones, the allocations to the zones. Any changes from what we would have had from the last time we would have used the 2 zones?
Let me just, oh, can you hear me? Oh, sorry. The zones would have, there probably would be some changes because we always have new schools coming in. Because you have heard, I'm sure you heard of schools I mentioned that some people didn't know existed. And some of these schools we didn't know existed until they're sent in to be part of BSSAC. So there will be some minor changes, but generally, the zones are not done haphazardly. We try to balance the zones as much as we can and make sure that we have a even balanced competition in both zones. The first question was what again? Oh, the hurdles. Yes, we had buy-in from the stakeholders, the PE teachers. We had at our last meeting with the PE teachers. This was decided unanimously because we realized that a lot of schools don't have hurdles. And, you know, and the hurdling situation was at a position where we would like it to, we would like to lift it. So by bringing it back to what they were before, you might get the participation should step up.
If I may clarify with regards to the zones, I just want to say to you that we use a ranking system for the zones. We look at the performance of the schools. Obviously, the Springer Memorial and St. Leonard's Boys are combined as one school, but we look at the participation of the schools over the last few years. We rank them, and then we use a system where we're able to do a zigzag type arrangement to put the schools into the zones. So every few years, we go back to that, and we make the adjustment to ensure that there's some degree of balance with regards to the position of the schools in the individual zones.
Good morning. In relation to scheduling, normally you have 5,000, maybe 3,000 Mr. Small. I'm not sure if that's the case this year, but in terms of the scheduling of the events, just share a bit with me in terms of the scheduling of the events. And then secondly, before I take my seat, in terms of logistics, I know normally every year in terms of parking at Usain Bolt, there's always that challenge. So, did you engage with the stakeholders down there to see how we can get additional parking and by extension, seating? Because listening to Mr. Douglas speak this morning, you're looking to make BSAC product, a viable one and to bring in more crowd.
As far as the 3,000, 5,000, when you say scheduling, exactly what are you asking? Because they're on the program, yes.
Right, so you have the 5,000 meters, you have the 3,000, 1,500. On any given day, especially for the finals, can we expect maybe the 5,000 to go as well as the 1,500 and 8? How is that going to be?
What we try to do is separate these events as best we can. But remember, we only have X amount of days. So sometimes you may have a 3,000 or 5,000. Well, we try to separate the 5 and 3,000 as far as days are concerned. But I can't tell you off the top of my head right now because I don't have the schedule in my head. But we try to put it in such a way that it's athlete friendly, so that you don't necessarily run a 3,000 and then in an hour's time you have to come back and run a 1,500. Yes. Mr. Bradford will answer the parking situation.
Before the parking situation, I also just want to stress that the position of those longer races, we debated that, and we came to the place where we determined, for example, like Dave said, a 1,500 and a 3,000 would not be going on the same day because we recognize that those athletes would probably be participating in both events. We've also explored having the 5,000 first thing in the morning on the opening day because of, one, the heat. Even before the opening ceremony, we've explored having the event at that time and then moving to the opening ceremony as well. Like Dave said, athletes first as best we can to ensure that the performances are at a level that is acceptable. We are fully aware that the Usain Bolt complex is a headache for staging an event such as BSAC. That is our reality. Parking has always been an issue, and this year it will still be an issue. We have special requests from the physical education teachers for parking for them specifically, just in case they have to leave the arena for any emergency situation. And we are exploring making specific spaces available for parking for at least one physical education teacher from every school. These are the persons who make the meet work. However, we advise persons to park and ride, share their vehicles, whatever, because the facility cannot, bottom line, accommodate the number of cars that we see in the area. We do get complaints because sometimes the parking is blocking some of the other institutions that are there as well. So I don't think it will happen for this year, but certainly I think if we're there for another year, that we would be forced to explore maybe a park and ride system that may alleviate some of the pressure that is in place now. But it is our reality at the Usain Bolt, and until we get, I don't like to touch this topic, but until we get a facility that will allow us to stage the meet in the way that it is supposed to be staged, we will have to do as best we can with what we have.
Before we can move on to the next question, on checking the 3,000 and 5,000 will be on the Wednesday. Okay, and so while we're there, let me also put in those final dates that I forgot. The finals will be the 26th, 27th, and the 20th of March. That first day, normally it's a shortened day, so we can get the 400-meter runners to run their semifinals, so they won't have to run back-to-back and then have to run a relay or something on that day. Okay? So, right. So we've got the 3,000 and the 5,000 out of the way on the Wednesday.
Okay. All right. Just one other thing from me. In terms of the initiative for schools who participate, it was mentioned, but I just need a bit more expansion on that. Ms. Goodrich, if you may.
Before the start of each year's competition, we have a meeting with the title sponsor. We start with a meeting with the title sponsor. At that meeting, we try to explore, we do a review, and we try to explore ways in which we can make the year's program a little bit better. The title sponsor indicated to us that they were keen to initiate an award for 2 schools, 1 female, 1 male, for the performance in sports. I have to say to you that we are now to put a committee in place to determine how this can be achieved. But we are committed to presenting an award to those 2 schools who will eventually be at the top. It is not going to be based solely on the performance in this year's competition, but likely it may look at the performance in sports across the year, where we can determine the best school sporting-wise for that period. But I don't want to tell you it is going to be X, Y, Z for the criteria, because we haven't sat down to determine what that criteria will be. However, we are indeed committed to making that award. I can say to you as well, from the discussions at that session, that the award will more than likely be in the form of equipment that will benefit the physical education program of those schools, right? Are there any further questions?
All right, so I also mentioned, and I know Marissa would be asking, so I will also say that we did touch on the new initiative of ensuring that for the zonal competition that we have a full house as well. And principals and PE teachers, you will love this. We've decided, and you know, over the years, we've had a set of students, we asked them to pay $10 or whatever. They didn't come out so much for that one. They didn't seem to understand that the zonal meet is really, really big. Then we brought it down to $2. We took it back to no fee. And it didn't matter what we did. Generally, the zones only had certain schools coming out each and every time. So we've decided this year that we will let the schools, we will pitch it at 100 to 150 persons per school per day. We are asking for a $5 donation, but the $5 donation goes back to the school's PE department. So the idea is to get the school to send the students. It's really your students that will be contributing. They'll be having a very good meet, but they'll be contributing. And I think that knowing that the funds come back to you will certainly be a plus for you. We want you to encourage all of your students. We're suggesting that you let some of the juniors perhaps come out on what would be a day 1, knowing that more seniors come to BSSAC. But the idea is to ensure that we have a full house represented. We don't want to have just 2 or 3 schools in a zone, keeping noise and not seeing the others. So I'm asking that you ensure. So all of the administrators here, whether principals, deputies, whatever, and all of the athletes, you want to know that you have support. I know that we cut up a lot of cloth and we're always waving things, and then there are the other schools that will always come out, but there are some schools that are missing. So I want you to go back and say to your PE department, or go back and say to your principal or your deputy, look, we want to be able to be there. And that is going to be important for us. We want to see the full house, every school represented in their zone, knowing as well that your PE department will benefit, whether it's by product or by some kind of a machine, because the funds will be available to you.
Are there any further queries, questions? Well, thank you. Then I hand over to the MC.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of our launch. We want to thank you for coming. As we said at the beginning, we think we have a full house today. We're really expecting that we'll have a full house at BSSAC when the competitions start. And of course, we know that the excitement will be there. We are going to offer you some light refreshment. So make sure that you partake of that light refreshment before you go. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you at BSSAC.